Hi, everybody. This is Shamron Munroe from the Bahamas, the place of paradise. And I'm so excited to joining with you all the way from the Bahamas to the Philippines, and for everybody else who's watching around the world. Thank you so much for having me, Coach Ariel and Coach Percy. It's such an honor to be here with you all today as we celebrate a new day. It's a great day. All right, we're going to be talking about discovering your leadership, or discovering yourself as a leader. So I want you to write that down if you're taking notes as we talk about discovering yourself as a leader. Now, this is really fresh off the press, and I'm excited to share this with you because I've been discovering for the last few months, and even within the past year and a half, about myself even a bit more. Now, that's kind of new, but at the same time, it's an adventure. And when I say an adventure because for persons like myself who is always working, developing on their leadership and their personal gifts and assignment, well, discovering yourself as a leader, that's very important. And I've discovered much more about myself. So I want to share some pointers and some tips and some ideas, and that may help you discover yourself as a leader. So let's go on this journey. When I think about discovering yourself as a leader, especially as we go into the 21st century, for those of you who are emerging leaders and those of you who are senior leaders, executive leaders that I call, you are preparing a generation to make an impact and to make a difference. And that is what basically leadership is about. Leadership is always bettering or making better those of another generation, another time, or even influencing those in your time and generation so that they can become better for the whole community or for the entire project, the entire world, the entire humanity, the entire society. So leadership is to better the whole. And that's what leadership does. So when you discover yourself as a leader, that takes on a whole new picture, because you're not looking for leadership. You are becoming leadership. You are becoming the answer. So discovering yourself as a leader is critical because you are now not looking and seeking for someone to look to, but you are looking and discovering someone to become. And that someone, it's you. That individual that you're desiring to come out and make a difference and show off and show out and bring out to the forefront to serve, to impact, to transform and bring about change, significant change for the good of the whole, is you. And that's what this is about. Discovering who you are, yourself, your leadership is the apex. So when you discover yourself, you're discovering yourself. It is the apex of discovery. I call it the apex of discovery because it is the only thing I believe that if you do not discover, you will be clueless, you will become void, you will become silent of your voice of an agent of change. I believe if you don't discover yourself, if you don't get to the apex, the mountain of yourself, put your name there. If you don't conquer the mountain or get to the apex of your mountain, and that's your name, say it. The apex of discovery is me. The apex of discovery is me. Well, to put it in better terms, when you discover the reason why the Creator has put you here on the planet, in your discovery, you will run into you. you will run into you. There'll be many voices and many persons, many individuals, many characters that you will come into interaction and into relationship and pass by. But one of those individuals that you will interact with, and it will be almost like a shadow, but you will see it in the reflection and passing in the glistering of waterfalls, or as you look forth and you pass by a window. It's the only time you get to see this individual. When you wake up in the morning and you brush your teeth and you look into the mirror, and there in front of you, someone you don't recognize a whole lot, someone who you don't spend time getting to know, someone you don't really take time to discover, a mountain that you haven't climbed, not to conquer it all, but to discover it, what it all is about. And that mountain, that apex, is you. So when we think about that apex, that mountaintop, what I'm talking about, the apex, we're calling it the top potential. So when we think about discovering your leadership, yourself as a leader, we're talking about discovering your top potential. We're calling it the very good, the very well, the excellent that you can do, that you are, that you can become. The very good, the very excellent, and the thing that you do very well. That is your top potential. And if you think about that, that is what it is all about when it comes to discover yourself as a leader. The next thing I want to talk about after the apex, because a lot of people think about this apex, is going to be a journey. That means I'm going to need the tools, I'm going to need the skills, I'm going to need the gear. And that's right. There are certain skills that you are going to need to take that Mount Everest, that apex journey, to discover your full potential, your top potential. So let me give you a breakdown of what that top potential kind of looks like, so you can kind of begin to get an idea of what you need to be equipped with. Well, that top potential has a lot to do with going through the terrains, dealing with treacherous and diverse territory. So you're going to enter places of yourself that you've never, ever felt emotionally. You've never decided to make a decision on that mentally. You haven't pondered on it physically. You haven't pushed against it. You haven't dived into it, and you haven't walked it out spiritually. Well, you're going to need those gears. You're going to need faith. Shoes of gripped faith that will keep you grounded. Because, tell you the truth, the terrain, it's unique. It's a territory like a jungle. And some it's like a desert, and others it's like snow. But you would know, because it will be a familiar experience, because it will touch your emotions. But it will take you to the edge of yourself. That's the apex. Because in order to get to full potential, you've got to get to the place where you can only rely on the Creator's best. The Creator's best is your identity in who you are and why you were created. I know that was a lot, but as we move on, I want you also to understand that if you're going to discover yourself as a leader, it's a hands-on experience. It's a hands-on experience. That means you've got to be able to touch and feel the things that move you. You've got to be able to touch and feel the things that make you. The things that allow you to stand up for your rights. The things that allow you to write in your journal. The things that allow you to change the legislation. The things that allow you to write that speech and enter that competition, the things that allow you to sign up for that race and run that marathon, the things that allow you to stand up against disease and abuse and injustice, the thing, and says, you know what? Enough is enough. There will be no ignorant person in this society or in this community. I'm going to become the best teacher. I'm going to become the greatest principal. I'm going to become known to transform my community. I'm going to be the greatest pastor. I'm going to preach to the ends of the earth. Well, that's what the hands-on experience is. And that's a life journey. That's a life journey of experiences. Because when you discover yourself as a leader, that's an experience that's expensive. But it can only be paid by your life, by your time, by your engagement. And that's how you get to discover yourself. Many things in life we discover through experiences, through interaction, through engagement. Well, that's what you're going to have to do. You are going to have to engage yourself. Engage what you like, what you dislike, what makes you move, what gets you upset, what makes you laugh, what makes you smile, what makes you say, I am ready to change the world. I'm going to make a difference. Enough is enough. I am tired. I want to make something better of myself. I want to be great. I want to be known. I want to be the first young woman, young man. I want to be an agent of change. Well, that takes engagement. That takes interaction. That takes hands-on. And the hands-on experience, well, when you experience hands-on, you get to discover who you are. If you really want to know who you are, don't do it through a virtual experience, but do it through a hands-on experience. It's yourself you got to get to know. It's yourself you're going to discover. It's you. And you are the only one that wakes up with you. There are friends and family that are all across the world. You're watching right now in another country. But right now, who's sitting right next to you? Or who's sitting in you? It's you. That's who you get to interact with. Begin to touch the heart of who you are. Get to experience what makes you beat, what makes you smile, what makes you say, I'm excited to do what I'm doing today. Oh, I'm excited to doing what I'm doing right now. It's a pleasure because I like it. I love it, actually. I enjoy this. So the next thing about discovering yourself as a leader, is that you must understand experience develops you. The experience, the interaction of engaging who you are, your past, your hurts, your pains, your goods, your bads, your ugly, and allow that to develop you, mature you, and grow you. So one of the things that you're going to have to know as you discover yourself as a leader, that you must understand that you will grow, you will develop, and you will mature. And what are you growing and maturing and developing? You're growing and you're maturing the asset of who you are, the asset of your leadership, your influence within the earth. So you're growing and developing. Then you cannot grow or develop unless you interact and engage within the earth realm. A seed will continually being a seed until it hits the dirt, it hits the soil that allows it to come alive. What am I saying, friends? Engage the things that move your soul. Bring about change naturally. A seed naturally is in the ground. Now, you always hear me say the word natural, and I use that operative terminology for a reason and a purpose. Because there are persons who are not discovering themselves naturally. So I'm not talking about unnatural leadership or leaders that are forced ripe or microwave. No, I'm talking about natural grown leadership that interacts with the soil or the soul of life. When you interact with the soul of life, the things that move you, the things that cause you to grow, the things that cause you to mature and develop, the asset inside you, the leadership inside you, the gift, the fruit comes out of you. That is what influences your environment. A mango tree influences its environment during the mango seasons. So we can't wait in the Bahamas or in the Caribbean when mangoes come around. I tell you, we flock to the mango tree. We climb the mango tree. People will flock to you when the fruit of your life, the fruit of your leadership is grown, matured, and developed. That's what discovering your leadership is about. So what that aspect is, let's move on. If you're going to discover yourself as a leader, it must be something that's fun. Fun. And not just fun, but fulfilling. Fulfilling, my friends, that's purpose. Because that's what's going to make you the leader that you need to be. It has to be about purpose. It's always about purpose. It's never about anything that's poison, but it's always about purpose. So purpose is fulfillment, and fulfillment is fun. I know it's fun for birds to fly, but it's their purpose when they fly that brings about fulfillment. Also, if you're going to discover yourself as a leader, you must understand that in order to discover yourself as a leader, you need to do this one thing, and this one thing that's really going to cause you to come into bloom is to disconnect. Now, I know that sounds very interesting. Why? Disconnect? I thought you want me to be engaged. Well, that's how you're going to get engaged to yourself. You've got to disconnect from social media. Disconnect from your friends and your family. Disconnect from religion. Disconnect from anything that's going to distract you from meeting the most important person. It's you. You're the VIP. You're the answer. You're the solution. You are the resource that the world doesn't know about. But if you don't know who you are, the world will never know who you are. So you've got to disconnect. Well, what do I call that disconnect? And that I call the disconnect simply a moment in time to develop who I am. It's like a caterpillar going into cocoon. And we already know it's a butterfly. For many of you, that process can take a while. It can take a year, 2, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. But you need to disconnect in order to develop. And so what I call that disconnect moment, I call that the meaningful time. A time when you connect with the source of life, the source of who you are, the source of your connection, which is the main source of life. And when you disconnect, that main source of life does one thing, because while you're being disconnected from everything that can distract you, you're actually becoming fast-tracked. You're fasting. You're on a fast track to become the agent of change. And what's that fast looks like? That fast demands faith. It demands faith for you to come alive, to believe in yourself. You've got to disconnect so you can believe in who you are. You've got to go into training, get into the process, get into programs, get into development, get into reading, get into studying, go to university, get a tutor, get a mentor. Stay among your father and your mother. Stay in your home a little bit longer so you can know how to become. I'm sure any one of those things I've just mentioned will relate to you. And so that fast track, it demands faith, and faith produces fulfillment. Faith, belief that produces fulfillment. That's the fast track. The fast track is your assignment that develops the asset in you. So not only that you're having the faith to produce, but you discover your assignment. You discover your success if you don't know who you are. So you get to get face to face. In the cocoon, it's just you. It's just your voice. It's just the sound of the Creator's voice echoing through you. The voice that the Creator gave you. Some of you don't know that you have wonderful songs inside of you, but you've got to spend that time quietly by yourself to bring it out, to have that aha moment, to have that inspiration. And then you can be motivated to get it done. Fast track, face to face. Not only going to face to face, but that fast track also puts you in a moment in time of training for transformation, training for impact, training for interaction, training for engagement, training so you can inspire. So there are moments when you go to college, you go 4-year degree, 5-year, 6-year, get your master's, get your doctorate. Yeah. Those time, they're valuable. That's the fast track. Now, the fast track sounds long, but that's the fast track. When you're passionate about discovering who you are, 4 years of developing yourself and getting a bachelor's degree, that's fast. 6 years to get your master's, that's fast. Taking 7 or 12 years to get your doctorate, that's fast. Because you understand the rest of your life is impact. And so you spend that time being trained, being developed, being mentored, being taught, getting the tools for transformation. That's the fast track. So the fast track gives you an opportunity for you to get the tools so you can have transformation and impact. It's giving you that face-to-face experience so you can really get to know the you. So when you enter the world, nobody can change who you are. When the butterfly comes out of the cocoon, nobody can tell the butterfly, go back and become a caterpillar. It doesn't work that way. I've already been transformed. Can a strong-headed woman be transformed into becoming a lazy individual? Can a strong, intelligent, disciplined young man be transformed and becoming a weak, lazy individual? Or once you have that discipline inside you, once you've got your mind made up, once you've got your purpose and your assignment, once you've got your focus, once you've got your vision and your mission, you are ready to go, you're ready to get it done, and you are gonna get it done. And nobody else can stop you. Nobody can stop you because you know who you are. That's discovering yourself. That's the journey. That's the process. So the disconnect is to do all of that. That's the dis. Now let's go to the cover. When you know who you are now, you graduate, you now have authority. But you don't come back as yourself only. You come back with a name on you. Doctor. Research. Engineer. Managerial. Leadership this. CEO. You're now covered in an authority. You're covered with a grace. You are covered with a power. You're covered with an authority and a grace that you never had. It's inside you, but nobody knows it until you get trained and developed. Then they see it. They don't see you until you get into the cocoon and come out the cocoon. That's when they really get to see how high you can fly. But as long as you're squishy and mushy and going on the ground, crawling around like a caterpillar, nobody sees your potential. Nobody sees who you really are, because all they get to see is a young face, a young millennial, a young leader, a young man who doesn't have the experience, a young woman that doesn't have enough time. Yes, you haven't have enough time. Well, it's not time to have enough time. I'm now going to fly like a butterfly so you can understand that I can go higher than you thought. because you thought of me in one way as a caterpillar, but there's another part of me you haven't seen yet. And it's because I'm now transformed. I've got the tools. I've met myself. I know who I am. I know myself inwardly, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally. I know who I am. Intellectually, I am well put together. I know what I need. I know what I want. I know who's going to help me get there. I know the resources I need. The potential speaks to my people. My potential speaks to my people. It tells me who I'm with, where I'm going, and who's with me. So you're covered. Not only that you're covered, one thing, if you're going to discover your true leadership, you must understand that a true leader understands authority, understands coming under the grace and the power of their true identity. That's the authority I'm talking about. The authority of being able to become authorized in the assignment and the ability that I've been gifted to produce. An apple tree is gifted to produce apples, and it is authorized to produce apples. No other tree can produce apples but an apple tree. So what I'm saying is that you've been trained, you've been developed, you've been discovered, you know who you are authorized already, and you have the authority to walk in that power. And that power and that authority that you walk in is your grace and your gift. And that's what you are covered with. True leaders understand that. True leaders are accountable. So if you're going to discover yourself as a leader, you must understand that you must be accountable. And being accountable is another aspect in the steps of discovering yourself as a leader. So I want to wrap up this whole session. I know some of you are enjoying this and you're taking great notes, and I want to thank you so much. I always try to give clean, clear, precise information, but most importantly, I give you what I live by. Nothing else, nothing more. And that's true leadership. So as we look at discovering yourself as a leader, discovering yourself as a leader really is the gift that's inside you, the fruit that you produce. That's who you are, what you're gifted at. So if you're going to discover yourself as a leader, you must discover the things that makes you you, what you're gifted at, what you love the most. So look at what you're gifted at. Young person, young adult, millennial, 40 and under, 50 and under, 60 and under, 70 and under, 80 and under. If you're still alive and you are 90 years old, you still have potential. You still got a gift. You still have an assignment. You still have something to do. You still have something to offer the earth. If you're 100 years old, you've got so much to offer us. You've got history. You got a century. So you've got to tell us a lot about the changings of time. So look at the gifts that you have. Seek out training and development to develop that gift. That's the time when you get disconnected. But then you come back covered. You come back and you reconnect. And you come back and you reconnect. Your reconnection is your service. So when you discover yourself as a leader, you must understand that you must serve. Serve your gift to the world, to the arena, to the place, to the people that you're called to. Covered in the authority, covered in the grace of your gift. The next thing, that you must train others. When you discover yourself as a leader, you must understand that yourself as a leader, there's a passion to train, to develop. People who don't like to train, who don't want to develop others, who don't want to see people grow, they have not discovered themselves. So a sign that you know who you are and you are truly a leader and you've discovered yourself as a leader, one of the signs is that you have a desire to share your information. to share your passions, to share your journey, to share your story, to share history. Train others. When you train others, that is the level of true impact. True impact happens at the level of training others. So, and lastly, it should be fun, because fun is fulfillment. And that's what discovering yourself as a true leader is all about. Well, guys, I'm not out of message, but hey, I'm definitely out right now, out of time. And so I want to greet you once again. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this amazing Kingdom Talk right here with Coach Ariel and Coach Percy. And share this with someone. Share this with a friend. Share this with family members. Maybe sit down and watch this video again. 7 times is recommended. And I know your life will be transformed and changed. Hey, I'll see you at the top. Because if you want to discover yourself as a leader, you'll do exactly what I shared with you today. Because I'm doing the same thing. Hey, and remember, through all of this that we're going through, inspiration is yours. It's inside of you.